What's wrong?
Eggs,
you okay?
My eggs.
Your eggs? Do we need more eggs?
No, I think they're just getting old. I think it's gonna be funny.
Hey guys and gals, welcome back to the channel. You're watching Toops Time and I'm Cody.
And I'm Jessie. And today's video is all about the eggs. No, but seriously.
Kinda.
It is about a question that we get asked all the time, and that is, did we regret waiting to have kids until our 30s, which we were actually 29, but we are having kids in our 30s. We're gonna let you know all the reasons we did wait that long, and also the pros and cons of why you might want to wait that long.
With that being said, let's get into it.
All right, babe, so how long did we actually wait in our marriage to get pregnant and start having kids?
Well, we were 23 years old when we got married, and 6 years later, we were 29 years old, and Asher was born like a month after our anniversary.
Yeah, so 6 years.
Yeah.
That seems like a long time. And so you might be thinking that, oh, well, maybe they just wanted to take the time to really get to know one another. Well, if you don't follow our channel and haven't seen some of our previous videos, I think that's not the case.
We actually started dating at age 15.
Yes,
so,
we were high school sweethearts.
yeah, we were dating for about 7 years, almost 8 years before we got married.
Yeah, so you could say we had known each other pretty well.
So apparently we just really like to wait for things, because not only did we wait that long to get married and we waited that long to have kiddos before we got married, we waited to have sex. We saved ourselves for marriage.
We saved ourselves for marriage. You can see all about our awkward wedding night here in this video, but apparently, like he said, we just really like to wait.
So you may be wondering why? Why on earth did you wait so long? Don't you know that there's a biological clock?
That is what all of our family was
They
saying.
reminded us constantly.
Yes, harassed a little bit.
Yes, we did know that there's a biological clock, but we still chose to wait. So here are the reasons why.
Very first reason is that we just really wanted to enjoy the time as a husband and wife unit. Like we said a few seconds ago, we remain virgins, so there was still a lot of exploring to do. You know, we were sowing our wild oats in the marriage phase. So we did have to get that out of our system. We wanted to enjoy one another for a while.
I think God would agree with us, because in Deuteronomy 24:5, he actually says that the men who have just gotten married should be set aside and not have to go to battle, because they need about a year off to be with their wife and to bring joy to their wife. And that's what I was doing.
And yes, you did hear that right. And it is in the Bible. He literally says to go home and bring happiness.
That's right.
To the wife he has married. Bring happiness.
Reason number 2, we aren't getting any younger, right?
Yeah, you're probably saying, wait, what? Isn't that a reason to go ahead and pop some babies out? Well, it wasn't for us, because we know that you are still very capable and fertile, especially younger 30s, to get pregnant and have children.
But you only go through your 20s once, and we wanted to enjoy doing things together by ourselves as much as possible in our prime.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of consider our 30s our prime, but
This is things we thought in our head back in the day, okay?
Yeah.
So we thought we were in our prime, and we just wanted to spend as much time together as possible in the best shape of our lives. This was not one of our primary reasons to wait at all. We just knew that there were lots of things that we wanted to accomplish, and we wanted to do those before we had the responsibility of children. That walks us right into number 3.
we waited mostly where we could get to a phase in life that we had a stable home environment ready to bring children into.
You may be asking yourself, what does a stable home environment look like? For us, that meant being able to enjoy the work that we do, working from home, being around our kids throughout the day, and being their primary caregiver, and not letting them be raised by someone else, whether it's a family member or a daycare or something like that.
This is why we pursued a career of being self-employed and working from home, but we actually despise hustle culture, and on this channel we are all about putting time over money, and so that was the biggest thing. Are we at the point where time can be dedicated to our children. The last and final reason that we decided to wait was for our career goals. We were hoping to have already met certain career goals that got us to a better financial situation for us to create that stable home environment.
Yes, that we're looking for.
For us, that meant that we both were able to leave the rat race and actually both make our primary income from home. If you've seen any of our other videos, I'll link a video up here telling you what we actually do. We own a wedding venue and we operate that. And so that is how we created that stable home environment. And it actually wasn't until 2 years after opening our wedding venue that we were able to even quit my corporate job for us to start having children.
Something you have to understand is that once you have kids, you need to be making them your responsibility to raise. That means fathers, if you do have the typical 9-to-5 job and you come home in the evening, you need to understand that your job is still to raise those kids. Mm-hmm. Your job didn't stop at work and you get home and kick off your shoes and watch TV on the couch when your kids are in desperate need of your guidance. You need to be the most tired, exhausted one in your family whenever your head hits the pillow every single night, knowing that you gave it all for your job, but you also still had that time to raise your kids as well.
It would be a disservice that we felt if we were trying to meet these really high success career goals when entering children into the world, when our focus really should be on them. We should already have a lot of that taken care of, especially for their first years of life.
Those were our reasons for waiting, but with that being said, do we actually regret waiting to have our kids? That's kind of a tricky thing to answer. We wish that maybe we would have been set up sooner, more like 25 years old maybe, to have kids.
We can wholeheartedly say that we do not regret waiting, but it would have been nice now, seeing how much we love being parents, to have been more set up in our career goals by the age of 25 or 26. And we could have had our kids sooner. That sure would have been nice. But I don't regret waiting because it allowed us to get our goals accomplished at still a pretty young age. 29 is pretty awesome to be self-employed.
Before we actually got to have our own children, I never knew exactly what it was going to be like. But once you actually have your own kid and you hold them in your arms for the very first time, it brings you this unexplainable joy and makes you really start to be able to understand a lot of what God did for us in the scriptures, being his children. So I think for sure that if we could have had them sooner, we definitely would have, knowing what we know now.
Now we want to end this video with just a quick little list that we came up with. By no means is it all-inclusive list of the pros and cons of waiting until your 30s instead of your 20s to have children. Most of the cons are medical reasons. The pros are obviously a couple things that we've already mentioned, and that would be that your career is more established once you've gotten into your 30s. You're at a better financial stability by that time. You've gotten your sowing your wild oats out of your system more than likely. That's kind of what the 20s
more
are known
mature,
for. Usually take
more
care.
Patient, better able to handle kiddos once they're here.
Yeah. So the cons, which is hard to accept as a female, I'm not gonna lie. After the age of 35, you are labeled as a high-risk pregnancy. What that means is that you're more likely to possibly miscarry or having a baby with a genetic defect, a lot of complications during pregnancy, certain things like that. So definitely speak with your doctor about these things. After the age of like 37, 38, your chances of getting pregnant decline, and that's another con. Your chance of conception goes way down. You may have to use infertility treatments, things like that. The worst con, in my opinion, to waiting, and this is the only reason that we would even sway to the idea of saying we regretted waiting, and we just did not know this until we had kids, was that now you are limited to the number of kids you can really have, like with healthy pregnancies. If you want a lot of kids, like we decided after we realized, oh, we love kids, give us a bunch of them, God. We realized now we cannot spread them out. So like we feel like we're kind of at this point where we're like, okay, it's been 2 years. Now you got to pop out another
no
one.
break between the kiddos.
Yeah.
now.
Sometimes I get jealous, I guess, which is totally wrong. But I'll look at like a family that started maybe at 24 years old and they have 5 or 6 kids, which to me seems overwhelming now, 5 or 6 pregnancies. But it really wouldn't have been that big of a deal if I would have started younger. They could have been spaced
Spread them out
out
over 10 years rather than 5 years.
So it's just definitely a few things to consider if you are in your 20s. Do you really want to wait that long? Do you think you're going to love having kids? We had no idea. We thought we would only want 2 or 3. Then we have them and we're like, oh man, 5 or 6 would have been cool.
Basically, I think where we are now is obviously I don't want 100 kids, but I think if we can financially support them, I don't really have a number set. You know, I absolutely love the kids. I love the idea of a future where family get-togethers are overwhelming with the amount of grandkids, and anytime you need something, you can rely on your kids. And
I picture my life when we're older, sitting around a table and just having a whole house full. I love that idea. I was in a big family. Cuddy was a pretty big family. We just got to get to having more kids. And we should also mention that you can have kids in a lot of different ways. Adopt or foster children, which is definitely an option on the table at any age. I know several people in their 40s and 50s adopt children, and that is commendable.
Definitely a viable way to have more children when you biologically can no longer have them. That is it for today's video, you guys. Hopefully you found this interesting. We would love to hear from y'all in the comment section what your thoughts are on when you should have kids.
Or if you waited and what you regret or don't regret.
Your experiences. We'd love to hear them. We do read pretty much every one of our comments and try to respond as much as possible.
Also, make sure to sign up for our email list. You can find a link in the description. That way you can be notified of any new content we've been working on for you guys.
God bless y'all. We will see you on the next one.
Bye.